Hi everyone, it's Mar Shlomo again. I really miss you guys. Let's start talking about the basic laws about Pesach. One of the words that's going to come up a lot, I'm sure you've heard it, is the word chametz. Chametz pretty much means, in English it means leavened, like bread that is leavened. Now we don't really know what that means. You won't know what that means. It's a very hard word to use. Nobody really uses that word. What it means is anything time you would mix flour with a liquid, pretty much water, and it gets a chance to rise. Now, if you ever saw somebody make bread, what they do is they make the dough and then they let it sit, or challah. They make the dough, they let it sit for a little while. It gets a little fatter. It rises a little bit, and then they're able to. Then you make the bread. So chametz is something that we can't have, and the way it works is that we can't let the bread rise, the dough rise for more than 18 minutes. From when the flour touches the water, it cannot last for more than 18 minutes. So matzah, which is something that we eat on Pesach, because we don't eat bread, we don't eat bagels, we don't eat pizza. It's not, traditionally, all these things are made from dough that rises. But matzah cooks from the second the water and the flour touch each other. It takes less than 18 minutes for it to be ready. And so the reason we do this is because we talked about, in the Pesach story, we talked about when the Egyptians left Mitzrayim, when the Jews left Egypt, they rushed out. They had the dough on their back, and they didn't have time to bake it. And in the hot sun, it baked really quickly. And that's kind of where we get the idea that the dough didn't have time to rise then. So we continued that tradition. And when we celebrate Pesach and we celebrate that the Jewish people were free from Egypt, we don't eat any types of bread that has any bread that the dough rises. So in a lot of houses, what they do, and what we do, is that we clean out our house from any bread products. So a lot of people lock up their bread products, and some families have a tradition where they sell it, and there's a whole contract with how they sell it, and then they get back after Pesach. But the idea is we put away or get rid of all our chametz products, and we really only have stuff that's good for Pesach. Then that includes things that were made, if they were made with flour and water, which is pretty much matzah, it didn't have time to rise. Everything else that's made is made differently, that it's not mixing flour and water. So if it normally has flour and water, it'll be made with different ingredients to almost taste like the product that we have during the year. So that chametz, so what people do is they clean out their house from chametz. And you'll see that in some houses, they cover the counters in the kitchen, they use different pots and pans over Pesach. There's something called bedikat chametz. For bedikat chametz, what people do is they go around the house, and I have something. Let me just undo it. And the way the tradition works, and the way some people do it, is that they go around the house and they'd actually hide little pieces of bread, or in my house we use macaroni because we like macaroni. It makes less of a mess than bread. And they would hide it around the house. And what people do is they go around looking. Bedikat chametz means searching for the chametz. And to go around looking, the other people will go around looking for these pieces of chametz. So some families do that. Some families use different things. We used to do this in my house. We still do it in my house because I like the tradition. Is where my family will go around. And there's special blessings to say. We still go around the candle. A lot of people go with a flashlight, so maybe we'll have both. We'll have a feather. I know. And a spoon. And when we see the chametz, we kind of use it, and we put everything away in a bag. And once we collect all that chametz, and that's how we do it in my house. Once we collect that chametz, that we do that bedikat chametz, we then, at Pesach morning, the morning right before Pesach, so when the Pesach starts at night, just like any Jewish holiday, that morning we do something called bi'ur chametz. We burn the chametz. And we do it on, these days, especially now that we can't really go out, we take it out to our barbecue, and we would put it on there, and we'll just burn it so it doesn't look, it's not edible anymore. It's a tradition that people do. That's so a lot of Pesach, and you'll see a lot of things we're going to talk about Pesach. And the next video, we're going to talk about the Seder. It all has to do with remembering what happened when the Jewish people were in Egypt, and the story about how the Jewish people left Egypt. So I'll see you in the next video, where we're probably going to be talking about everything about the Seder, which is the meals, and we'll talk about that. Some of the first two dinner meals on Pesach. I'm going to talk about the Seder table. We're going to talk about the Haggadah, which is actually something you'll find out about. We will talk about all this in a future video. I will see you guys soon. Bye.